Every year, when you see the tinfoil flowers on the North 8th Street lamppost, locals know that can only mean one thing: the feast is coming. We look forward to this festival to spend time with our loved ones, play games, and eat some good food. Unfortunately, something most feast goers don't know is why we celebrate during this week to begin with.
This great statue, the base of which we're looking at now, is 80 feet high and 4 tons in weight. You hear a shout going up from the crowds in the street. It's just been lifted and is being carried forward toward us now as a basic part of the festa. Dozens of men dressed in their ritual costume with white shirts and red sashes are lifting up the Giglio, as they call it.
The feast has been a tradition practiced for over 100 years. The story starts with the Nolani immigrants settling in Brooklyn during the 1880s. One of their first orders of business would be to pay homage to their patron saint, San Paulino. As the story goes, after hearing the cries of a widow, the patron saint would sacrifice his life to slavery in place of her son who had been abducted. A Turkish sultan learned about Paulino's selfless act and freed him, allowing the bishop to return home to Nola. Upon his return, Paulino was welcomed with gilies from different tradesmen in competition for who would have the most extravagant display. The 82-foot-tall towers and statues made of metal and papier-mâché carvings are meant to commemorate Paulino's homecoming. The tradition of the Giglio Fest began in 1903 and was combined with the feast honoring Our Lady of Mount Carmel in the 1950s. As said earlier, the feast mixes people from all different backgrounds and brings them together through Italian sausages, zeppoles, games, rides, and music. I remember fighting my mom to break my 8 o'clock curfew to stay at the feast and see who would show up or how many fish I can win at the games. The feast has become a home for nostalgia, a place where people can reunite with old friends and relive childhood memories. Here are a few things that the feast goers had to say.
Well, I like to come to the feast every year because I've been doing this since I was a little kid. The energy is always great, and it's just something I've been doing since I was young, so I love it.
I come every year to the feast for the food, mainly for the sausage and peppers, the zeppoles, the funnel cake, and just like literally anything and everything they got. It's a little expensive, but it's worth it, I'm gonna be honest.
I come every year because I grew up here in Greenpoint, and my dad used to take me every year, and he passed away a few years back, so I always come here no matter what. It's always nice to come back, you know, it's a great environment, and yeah, I just love coming here. It's a lot of fun.
I come to the feast every year because I like seeing people from the neighborhood. I've grown up and lived here all my life. I like seeing people from like middle school, elementary school, and really enjoying the community aspect of it all.
I come to the feast every year because quality food and good vibes.
I come to the feast every year for food, drinks, hang out with my friends, and to chill with the family, you know.
Because it's tradition, my family has brought me every year, so I'm just continuing it. So I come to the feast every year because it's really fun. I like seeing everybody I grew up with, and it's just as nice to see familiar faces, get some drinks and everything, you know. It's nice.
I come to the feast every year because my mom bought me when I was younger, and I just kept it alive, so I kept coming, and it's a fun thing to do.
I come to the feast every year. Well, first of all, I've been in Brooklyn my whole life, but the past couple of years I live on Long Island. I still make my way 45 minutes just to come to Mount Carmel Feast. It's a tradition, family, you know, it's just a great place, the environment.
Honestly, the only reason I come here now is because it's the only real thing that's still kind of original here in this part of Williamsburg, because I don't come here often anymore, but when I do, I feel like I'm 100. Everything has changed so much, and this just being the same is kind of, I don't really know the words for it, but it's normal to me.
The nostalgia, it reminds me of being a kid, growing up, coming to the feast every year. It's great, it's fun. You got rides, you got games, food, all that.
So I come to the feast every year because it just brings me back to my childhood. We lived in Williamsburg for quite some time, and I just love being able to come back and remember so many years ago when we used to do this for fun, get on the ride, spend time with family and friends. So it's always nice to be able to come back.
Favorite part of the feast is the food. I'm coming for shish kebabs right now. I'm about to get a shish kebab, probably a sausage, zeppoles, fried Oreos. I'm getting everything right now. I'm getting everything.
My favorite part of the feast gotta be the food. Bro, you get good food, good desserts, fried Oreos, shish kebabs. You get everything here.
The food! I love me some food from the feast, getting some funnel cake and some Italian sausage. It always brings me back. I love it so much.
My favorite thing about the feast is the zeppoles because they're always fresh, and I always get mine fresh.
My favorite part of the feast is the zeppoles. They're really good, powdery, sugary, amazing. Get them.
The zeppoles, every time.
My favorite part of the feast is the zeppoles. Oh my God. If you try a zeppole over here, your mouth will thank you later. I swear to God, they are the best things about this feast.
My favorite part of the feast, I ain't gonna lie, every time I come here, I got the zeppoles, that's what I get. Every time I come here, I always get that. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna get that when I leave.
Love the rides. Having fun on the rides, seeing my friends get sick after they get on them. And force people who don't usually get on rides to get on rides.
My favorite part of the feast is the fact that it feels like home and like you see everyone come together and feel like a big community.
I would say like the energy, the vibe, the food. And now I'm 21, I'd say the drinks.
The lifts, because like I said, I've been coming here since I was little, 22 years. So.
My favorite part of the feast is probably the weekend where they lift the statue and a bunch of people come and it's a good time.
My favorite part of the feast is when I come every year and I see all the people that I haven't seen in so long, and like you meet up with them, you're with your group and they're with their group, you pass by them and you're like, yo, I haven't seen you in that long, and they're like, oh shit, oh, and then we just like all meet up and like we go on rides together, and that's honestly the best part of the feast.
As you can probably tell, the feast has many meanings to the thousands who take part in it every year. It's filled with tradition, love, and fun for people of all backgrounds. It's about time we openly appreciate the place that will always have our favorite desserts, great food, and forever lasting memories.